For decades, Israeli leaders have used dehumanising language to describe Palestinians to justify Israel's occupation. And since October the 7th, words have become a weapon to legitimise the war on Gaza.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
The war in Gaza has one of the lowest ratios of combatants to non-combatants casualties in the history of urban warfare. And you want to know where it's lowest in Gaza? It's lowest in Rafah.
It's an entire nation out there that is responsible. It's not true. This rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved.
מדינה פלסטינית לא יכולה לקום כי אין דבר כזה עם פלסטיני.
אנחנו לא נאפשר אפילו הצהרה על מדינה פלסטינית, אפילו הצהרה על הקמת מדינה כזאת חס ושלום.
But it's not only dehumanising language against the Palestinians that's being used. Propaganda and disinformation have also backed up Israel's military offensive on the ground. Palestinians say it's intended to justify war crimes. Osama bin Javaid reports.
Since Palestinian fighters attacked southern Israel on October the 7th, Israel's far-right government has presented a narrative based on untruths and propaganda, often echoed by its allies. One of the most repeated claims was that of 40 beheaded babies.
I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children.
He could not have seen them because those dead babies did not exist. In the immediate aftermath, as invading Israeli troops began posting images in women's undergarments, the Israeli government insisted Hamas fighters systematically raped women. Multiple investigations have failed to find evidence to corroborate it. As Israel's war machine grinded through a campaign which has killed more than 41,000 people in Gaza, nearly a third of them children, it maintained Palestinians were faking the deaths of their children. As bombs leveled 3/4 of all infrastructure in Gaza, Israel's justification for targeting hospitals was the presence of Hamas command centers under the buildings. But despite a relentless campaign of attacks on medical facilities and health workers, the Israeli government failed to provide proof to back up animations it used as pretext for the attacks.
It's a baby battle in a basement.
Inside hospitals, its spokesman lied about days of the week as names of Hamas fighters.
Where every terrorist writes his name.
Aid groups say anyone who tries to get aid to millions of Palestinians living in famine-like conditions is a target. And when Israeli forces shoot or bomb clearly marked humanitarian aid vehicles and staff, the government blames Palestinian fighters, only to later admit responsibility. If there is a public outcry, particularly with the killing of foreign aid workers, Israeli leaders call it, quote, a mistake. Despite the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, or UNRWA, fulfilling the Israeli government's legal requirements, it's been a regular target. Analysts say Israel has been trying to shut down UNRWA for decades because its existence legitimizes Palestinian claims to lands they say were stolen by Israel. This crater is in Al-Mawasi, where at least 400 families were forcibly displaced and their tents were wiped out by Israeli bombs. That's after they were urged to go to a safe zone, but nowhere is safe in Gaza.
There is a place in Gaza called the Mawasi. The Mawasi is the place where they all can have shelters. Together with international organizations, we created shelters.
There's been a litany of what legal experts call war crimes, and almost every act follows a torrent of propaganda. A sinister tactic, according to Mark Owen Jones, who specializes in disinformation.
A consensus can be created really quickly, and that's what's happened. You had the 40 beheaded babies out there immediately, right? Exploiting an emotional moment in time with this atrocity propaganda makes people more susceptible to it. If you don't want to believe the reality that Palestinians are being slaughtered, and that it's a genocide, you need something for your morality to rest on. That's why you need a lie. And if they believe that they're fighting an enemy that beheads babies, they'll feel comfortable doing that. It also gives the opportunity for Western leaders a way to legitimize to their populations why they should support an American ally like Israel.
I come before you not only as the United States Secretary of State, but also as a Jew.
You need not be a Jew to be a Zionist. I'm a Zionist.
Ideological, political and financial backing has fueled a war of disinformation, dehumanization and victim blaming. And 1 year on, it's still being waged against Palestinian civilians. Osama bin Javaid, Al Jazeera.